Hello, students. We will be doing a packet tracer lab today, which will be configuring initial router settings. There are three parts to this lab, packet tracer lab. First, part one is verify the default router configuration. Part two is configure and verify the initial router configuration. And part three is save the running configuration file. So let's get started with part one by verifying the default router configuration. There are two steps to this part. Step one is to establish a console connection to R1, which is router 1. So here we have a PCA and router 1. To establish a console connection, we go to the cable right here down below and select the console cable and click on PCA. And from here, we choose RS-232 and click on router 1 and we select console. So now we have made a connection, console connection to the router R1. Let's go to the desktop of the PCA. The desktop of the PCA and click on terminal and click OK, and it will take us to the terminal of the PCA. Since we're connected to router 1, when you hit the enter key, we should see the router. Okay, we are in the user exec mode. In order to go to privilege exec mode, you type enable, right? And we're in the privilege exec mode. And here we can see the running configuration by typing show run. Hit the enter key, and it will take us to the running configuration. And you will notice that the host name of the router is router. Going to the document here, the question is, what is the router's host name? The answer is router, right? And the next question is, how many fast Ethernet interfaces does router have? So let's go over here and click the space bar and another space bar. And hit another space bar. Okay, so I will, I see that it has 4 fast Ethernet, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Four fast Ethernet interfaces. How many gigabit Ethernet interfaces does it have? It has 2, 0 and 1. The next question here is, how many serial interfaces does the router have? So go ahead and hit the space bar again. Well, actually no, because it's right here. Serial interface serial 0, interface serial 1. So there are 2 serial interfaces. The range of VTY, you will notice that by hitting the space bar, it shows us, takes us to the line VTY, and it's 0 to 4. Okay, so that's the running configuration. There's not much going on. It just shows the host name and the interfaces that we have. Okay, but we will be configuring the initial router configuration in a minute right now. In order to do that, the first step, now we're in part 2 basically. Part 2, configure and verify the initial router configuration, right? So for that, in order to configure the router, the first step that we need to do is to configure the initial settings on router R1. And that requires us to first configure the host name. Host name is R1. So in order to do that, we have to go into global configuration mode by typing config T. Okay, and now we're in the global configuration mode. And we can type, we can set the host name by typing host name and giving it a name R1. And now you will notice that the host name has changed to R1. Now let's configure the passwords, right? In the global configuration mode, we can type enable password Cisco, right? That's what we are supposed to do. Here in the instructions, it says privilege exec and encrypted Cisco. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can say enable right here. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So enable password Cisco. Okay, hit the enter key. We enable the password Cisco, but it's asking us also here in step number 2, privilege exec and encrypted. It's a secret. So let's go ahead and do the enable secret. Okay, enable secret. It's a secret, right? It's a secret. I just want to make sure I spelled it correctly. It's a secret. Yes. Hit the enter key. And the next thing we want to do is to set the console password, right? In order to do that, we need to go into the console mode, right? So we type line console 0, correct? We can do console 04 if you want, but so that all lines are set with the same password. But let's just do 0, console 0, okay? And our password is going to be, you will notice that our command prompt has changed now from config to config line. We are in the line configuration mode. So here we can type our password, let me in, okay, let me in. And then hit the enter key. And in order for that password to go into effect, we need to type the login command, right? So that way the password can take effect. We have done these steps when we learned these steps when we configured the switch. So in the previous modules. So you will have familiarity with it. This is nothing new for you all, right? So these series of commands to set passwords is not new for you. Now, we're going to do what? We're going to encrypt all the passwords, right? Using service password encryption command. First, we have to exit to go to the global configuration mode. And then we can type the password or service, actually. Service password encryption, hit the enter key. So now we've encrypted all the passwords, current passwords as well as future passwords, right? So let's go ahead and exit one more time, and then you will notice that we are back into, we're completely out of the router. So you will see here R1 console 0 is now available. That means the router's console 0 is now available. Hit return or press return to get started. So I press return and ask me for password. So remember, to get into the console, what was the password that we said? We said let me in. So let's type let me in. And it takes us to the user exec mode. I'm going to type enable and to go into the privilege exec mode. And let's try Cisco to see if it works. It doesn't. So let's try it's a secret. It's a secret. Yeah, it'll let us go into the privilege exec mode. All right. So having done that, we are going to do the last thing, which is to save the running configuration, right? We will save the running configuration to the startup configuration, which is on NVRAM. So in order to do that, what is the command? The command to do is copy running configuration to the startup configuration, right? So we can say copy run start. Hit the enter key. It's asking for a destination file name. We use the default, hit the enter key, and it's done. So that is basic router configuration, or in other words, initial configuration of a router. All right. I will see you in the next video.